I had the opportunity today to speak to Mr. Schultz about the CU Restorative Justice Program. It's my understanding that he intends on accepting the offer and file, requiring you to complete the CU Restorative Justice Program, the CU Community Living class, and the substance use screening and completion of a course by probation.
Okay, thank you for that. And I'm just looking to see what the charges are. It looks like there were 2 charges of fraudulent identification, 1 charge of being a minor in possession of alcohol, and 1 charge of being a minor in possession of marijuana. If you plead guilty to all of those 4 charges, they're going to all be eligible for dismissal eventually. You'll be placed on the deferred judgment for the 9-month term. You will be expected to complete the restorative justice program, the community living class, and then a substance use screen and follow through with whatever is ordered by our probation staff. Is that how you'd like to proceed, Mr. Schultz?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions before we move forward?
No, Your Honor.
When you plead guilty to these charges, you're giving up your right to trial on those charges. Are you doing that voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anybody forcing you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any medications or drugs or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand these charges? There are 2 charges of fraudulent identification. Do you understand those 2 charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you agree there's evidence to support those 2 charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the charge of possession of marijuana?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you agree there's evidence to support that charge? And do you understand the charge of consuming alcohol or possessing or consuming alcohol by a minor?
Yes.
And do you agree that there's evidence to support that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are doing all this without the benefit of a lawyer. You're not required to do that. If you wanted to hire counsel, you probably heard me, but you could go to CU's Student Legal Services and secure counsel that way. You could apply for private counsel or secure private counsel, or you could apply for the public defender. Are you comfortable moving forward without counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that a lawyer might do a better job of representing you than you do representing yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
I am going to find that it's a free and voluntary decision to plead guilty to these charges. We'll start with the 2 charges of having a fraudulent identification, which is a violation of section 5612 of the Boulder Revised Code. Nick, if you could pull up the summons on that. That allegedly occurred on September 14th of 2000. And I believe maybe a slight error on the summons, Mr. Altenberg. The officer started to write 20 and then didn't write the last 2 digits of the year. Do you want to amend the summons to reflect that that was a 2025 year?
We can file that right now.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grant the oral motion to amend to make it September 14th of 2025 at 2200 Willard Loop Drive. How do you plead to those 2 counts of fraudulent identification?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll accept those 2 guilty pleas. Count 3 is a charge of possession of marijuana by someone under the age of 21, a violation of section 5104 of the Boulder Revised Code from that same date, time, and location. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Accept that guilty plea. And then the count 4 is a charge of being a minor in possession of alcohol in violation of section 574 of the Boulder Revised Code. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty, Your Honor.
I've accepted the guilty plea to all 4 counts. We'll place all 4 of those charges on the deferred judgment for the 9-month term. You will be required to complete the CU Restorative Justice Program, the community living class, and you'll have a brief interaction with our probation officer who will determine the substance use class for you to complete. If you do everything you're supposed to do by the deadlines that we set for you, then at the end of this 9-month term, we're going to withdraw those 4 guilty pleas, dismiss the charges, and seal your record. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so you will have the $155 in fees and costs to pay. Just go ahead and have a seat. As soon as we're ready with the last individual, we'll send the 3 of you back to meet with probation, and we can call that next case. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to call Ms. Michelle Fazio, please, to get in person. I had the opportunity to speak to Ms. Fazio about the large violation question, the CU Restorative Justice Program. It's my understanding that she intends on accepting the offer and file, requiring her to complete the CU Restorative Justice Program, the CU Community Living class, and 6 hours community service.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Altenberg. So, Ms. Fazio, you've heard me do this with others, but you are facing 1 charge, which is a charge of making unreasonable noise. If you plead guilty to that charge, you have the opportunity to earn a dismissal of the charge by completing the CU Restorative Justice Program, the CU Community Living class, and 6 hours of community service. Is that how you'd like to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions before we go forward?
No, Your Honor.
All right. When you plead guilty to this charge, you're giving up your right to trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you doing that voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any medications or drugs or alcohol today?
No, Your Honor.
And do you understand the charge of making unreasonable noise?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you agree that there's evidence to support that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're doing this all without the benefit of a lawyer to represent you. Are you comfortable moving forward without the benefit of counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand a lawyer might do a better job of representing you than you do representing yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that you could hire counsel or either through this university or on your own, or apply for the public defender?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I am going to find that it's a free and voluntary decision for the defendant to plead guilty to this charge of making unreasonable noise, which is a violation of section 596 of the Boulder Revised Code. It's occurring September 20th of 2025 at 920 14th Street. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
I'll accept that guilty plea. We will place you on the deferred judgment. There'll be a total of $165 in fees and costs that you'll pay the court. You'll have the $25 fee that you'll be required to pay when you do the community service. And that'll be when you go over to the SLICE program on campus. You also have the CURJ program to complete and the community living class. All right, that's it for my engagement with you. The next step in the process for the last three folks that I spoke to is to go meet with probation. So Leslie, are you going to walk them back and do that quick handoff, or do you want to?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to send you back with Leslie. She's going to introduce you to probation. They're going to go over all of this with you. They will be your contact person going forward to make sure that you get things taken care of by the deadline. Don't wait to get started with these things. I have seen hundreds of CU students in the last 6 weeks, and we are in a process where people are applying to get on into CU Restorative Justice. They're trying to get their classes scheduled. If you wait too long to sign up, you might not meet the deadlines that are set for you. So that's for everybody. Make sure you get signed up and get these things done by the deadlines that are set for you here today. Okay, thank you, Ms. Fazio. I'm going to pull up your case to see what we have going with that case, Ms. Halbison. There is an offer in the file for your case. And this is one where you're over the age of 21, but you got a charge of possession or consumption of alcohol in public. And so what our prosecutors are willing to do is, if you're willing to write a 250-word essay about what you've learned from the experience, they will be willing to actually dismiss the charge. So you would have to write that essay. What we do is we reset your case, and then we give you a court date. If you submit the essay to them prior to that court date, they will file a motion to dismiss the charge. The case will be dismissed and you wouldn't even have to come back to court. So that's the option that's been made available to you by the prosecutor's office. You're not required to accept that offer, but that's one way if you wanted to resolve it that way.
I will accept that offer.
All right, so I'm going to make that. It'll ultimately be an order of the court dismissing the case. It won't happen today, but we're simply going to reset the case. We'll reset it about 2 to 3 weeks out. The prosecutors will actually send you by email the information that they need from you and how you supply the essay back to them. And so you'll get that sometime in the next day or two from them. And then your response to them will be due prior to that court date. Give them enough time to review the essay and submit a motion to dismiss. So don't submit it the night before, submit it several days before so they have it. But as long as you do that, then ultimately the case can be dismissed and your record would be sealed. Any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so the next step of the process, is that the setting notice, Nick? Or is that the
It's
offer?
actually the plea offer.
Okay, yeah, that's great to give her a copy of that. So Ms. Halbison, you'll have that. Next step for you is to go out front. Our clerks are going to give you that next court date and then get you on your way.
Okay.
And if you had to appear, I'm going to authorize Zoom for that court date if you had to appear. I don't expect that you will, but if for some reason everything's not done, then you need to reappear. And if you don't have an order, an email from the court dismissing your charge, that would be the flag for you to say, boy, I better contact them to see what's going on so that you don't miss court and end up with a warrant for your arrest for missing court. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right out front then, Ms. Halbison, they'll be with you shortly. Hello, Mr. Fanning. Take a quick look at your file. And Mr. Fanning, and I see Ms. Keller standing because I was going to just ask, it looks like it's a possession of or consumption of alcohol in public charge without an offer right in the file, at least right now, but Ms. Keller?
Your Honor, he is eligible for that offer. I think we might have just missed him in putting that one in, so I can go ahead and do that now.
All right, so that's great. So, Mr. Fanning, very similar to the last young woman I spoke to, you'd be eligible to earn a dismissal of your charge by completing the 250-word essay that I've described. It has to be handwritten. I'll make sure that I emphasize that. You'll submit that back to the prosecutor's office. They will dismiss the charge upon receipt of that 250-word essay. That's an option for you. Would you like to accept that? All right, so as just with the last young person I spoke to, We'll reset you 2 to 3 weeks out. And I'll again make it Zoom eligible. If for some reason you have to come back to speak with me, you could do that by Zoom. We won't take any pleas today, and I'll just send you right out front. They can print out the offer for you as soon as it gets uploaded. If you need a copy of it, you're not required to have that, but if you need a copy, let them know and they can print it out for you up front.
Thank you, Your
All right, thank you, Mr. Fanning. Good morning, Ms. Pachovas. Am I saying your last name correctly?
Yeah, actually, good job.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's take a look at what we have. There are 2 charges pending for you. The first charge is having a dog at large, and the second charge is having an aggressive animal. One thing I didn't tell the group on aggressive animal cases that I like to share with people is if you either plead guilty or are found guilty of an aggressive animal charge, in most cases, I order an evaluation through a private trainer. Usually it's the Humane Society of Boulder Valley that people select to have that evaluation. There's an extra expense associated with that because they charge a fee to do the evaluation. But it guides me in deciding what sentence to impose, what type of conditions to impose for an animal. And usually that benefits the defendant because it allows me to feel comfortable to not order forfeiture, which is a very drastic remedy that I don't like to utilize if I can avoid it. But having good conditions in place for sentencing in a case of any aggressive animal charge is important to me to make sure that the community is safe. So I'm not presuming that you're even guilty of the charge. I'm just telling you that if you were to plead guilty, you should anticipate you'd have to come back for sentencing on another day. A couple of different ways to proceed right now. If you'd like, you could speak with the prosecutor and discuss your case with one of them, see if you can work out an agreement to resolve the case. That's an option for you. What would you like to do?
So I think I may need to do that. I was not actually the handler or the owner of the dog in question, so it's kind of an odd situation. So is that the best?
Yes, it might be worthwhile to discuss those circumstances with the prosecutor so that you can share that. And then once you've had that conversation, you might be able to resolve something going forward. If not, then you could come back into the court. And if you had questions, we could address those at that point.
Great, that's.
If you'd like to do, would that be you, Ms. Keller?
Yeah, I just need to do something for Dara. So if you wouldn't mind just writing your name down, I'll be lucky. Just.
All right, so Ms. Pachoza, after you've written down your information, then Ms. Keller will talk to you shortly and we'll see you back here in the courtroom.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good morning, Mr. Dotson.
Hello, Judge.
You take a quick look at your file. Mr. Dotson, there's a charge of urinating in public that's pending for you. The summons says that you're not currently housed. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm homeless and I'm battling a bunch of court cases. I have a DUI competency case here with Colin Sullivan and have depression. So I went to court here and then I went down to the park and just went to sleep. And I have a bladder problem and I just saw my doctor and got flow maps for my urinating problem.
Okay.
I've been urinating every hour, like every 60 minutes. So I'm back on my flow maps and I have depression, I have a court case in Adams and a court case in Arapahoe, diversion competency. And so this case, the DUI with Colin Sullivan, so they're all gonna coincide concurrent. And so I'm just homeless and I have no work right now. My grandpa's out of work and so these court cases are just keeping me in the state of Colorado. I'd like to go home to California, so I'm just really depressed and have a really bad bladder and stuff.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry you're struggling with both of those things. The person to your right is Dara. She's our court navigator. She can have a quick conversation with you and discuss your circumstances. She might be able to convince the prosecutor to dismiss the charge based on some of the work that you are if there's anything that you can do to improve your stability. So she can talk briefly with you if you'd like to have that conversation, and that might result in your case being dismissed this morning. Do you want to have that conversation with her?
Sure.
Okay. So Dara, are you able to have that conversation now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so if you'll just go with Dara, we'll see you back in a few minutes, Mr. Dodson.
Thank you.
You're welcome.